Hello everyone, this is Carlo Mazzini and this is WLOG, and this is the Barracks Emperors, created by Brad Johnson and Ray Farrell, who are the authors, the game designers, authors of the great game Time of Crisis. And just as Time of Crisis, this game is just like that. It is it is about the 3rd century crisis of the Roman Empire, a period of anarchy, civil wars, social descent, economic decline, and that of the Roman Empire, and that so many emperors, so many pretenders to the throne, each of them supported by the Praetorian Guard or this or that legion, everyone making war against each other. Emperors who were essentially bought the imperial throne at an auction. This happened, and were later betrayed by those same troops that had given them the imperial throne. So a period of absolute anarchy, and that is exemplarily described by a podcast that I follow, as many others do, because a very successful podcast, historical podcast, that is History Rome by Mike Duncan, and really a great one. And this podcast is about the entire history of Rome, from the monarchy, from the 7 kings up to the fall of Rome, to the fall of the Western Empire. But I really love the portion about the crisis of the 1st century. So many emperors, Pacantius, Numerian, Gordian II, Marius, Regalianus, Carinus, up to the 2 emperors that essentially put everything back together, Aurelianus and Diocletianus. I remember, of course, I am more familiar with the original Roman names of those two emperors. It is a situation that was born after the end of the Severian dynasty, and that really lasted for all the 3rd century, all the 3rd century AD. So it was a very long period of anarchy, and it is a parting point between the early Roman Empire and the late Roman Empire. But essentially after Aurelianus and Diocletianus, everything was put back together, but nothing was just like it had been before. And this game really captures that in a very different way than the original Time of Crisis, because Time of Crisis was a deck building game that was based upon a geographical map with areas, with some conventional wargame mechanics, even light wargame, yes, and all the deck building, but it was recognizable. This is much more abstract. This is a game in which you place these cards, the influence cards that have a value, special abilities, on this chessboard, and it is very Roman actually in its look, and really reminds me of ancient games. And you place them to capture those other cards that are the different emperors. When you surround an emperor with enough cards, you capture it. But how do you calculate that? Well, the highest, this is a trick-taking game, the highest card will take, and let's see an example, let's just see, okay, something like that. Okay, everyone places a card, and after he or she has placed the card, the emperors are resolved. That is, the emperors that are surrounded. The emperors have their own color, and so you just consider cards of that color. The highest card of that color will take the emperor. In this case, the 2/2 yellow will take Carinos, which is who is yellow. So all the other cards are not counted. But if this was not, there was not this card, but let's say another one. Okay, we have no yellow card, so who takes the cards in this case? The highest one, so the 8 cards which are the same, who have the same value. For example, if this was a 7, even of different colors, are ignored. So those 2 7s are ignored. The 8 will take the card, and so the eagle. You see, every card, every emperor card has a side. The player whose side has the highest card in it will take the emperor card and will score a point. But you don't have to have placed that card. In this case, Carinos will go to the eagle player because there is an 8 here, but not necessarily the eagle player had to have played this card. Maybe another player had played this card. Maybe it was the brief player that wanted to take Philip II, and he did not see that in this way he was actually giving Carinos to the other player. Or maybe he saw that there were negotiations. This is a 1-2-4 players game, so there may be so many negotiations around the table. There are also variants you can also play in teams. There are many variants, and there are many oblique strategies, like tactics. Maybe I want to give an emperor to one opponent so that one area of the map will be open to me, or I will block another player. All those calculations come into play. And also remember, every card has a special ability that can be played, such as this. You may play, for example, this card to stop barbarian cards. Barbarians are neutral cards that can be moved around by playing other barbarian cards, and they can cover influence cards so that they are ignored. The original influence cards are ignored. Lots of stuff happening in a very simple rulebook. The rulebook is 6 pages long, maybe. You will learn to play this trick-taking game really quickly, really in minutes, and you will be able to play with really everyone, and you will have a blast. Another great mechanic, you see this area, depending on the value of the card you just played, you will draw one of those cards, but your selection will be limited. If you have played an 8 or 7 card, you will be able to choose just from this spot. If you have played a 6, 7 or 8 card, well, you can choose between those 2 spots, and so on, so that more choice and more powerful cards are accessible to you if you placed a less valuable card in a turn. It is a balancing mechanic. This is the game flow. You place a card, you resolve the emperors. The one with the highest card, possibly the same color of the emperor, will take that card. What happens? For example, okay, eagle will take a Carinos. Okay, so Carinos goes to eagle, and it's nice, very well. And the 8, however, is removed, so it will not count for all those other emperors. So those the other players will have to place other cards in this spot to have that emperor. You see, it is a very interconnected game, and it's played over 3 rounds. Around hands when no one can play a card, because you can play cards only on squares which are open to the side of your faction. So it is very quick, it is very but it is also very differentiated. It has a very high replayability. The board will always be different at every round. This is all reshuffled again, and other emperors are put in. There are additional emperors that can enter. You never know what the other players will have in their hand, or if you're playing solo, there is a solo mode. This central emperor is replaced by a Roma card, by a Rome card. There's a fortified Rome and a devastated Rome. The barbarians in the solo game will try to get to Rome. When they get, you have lost, so you have to prevent that, and you can prevent that by defeating them or by essentially burning one of the forum slots to grant them citizenship. Once again, historical dynamic, very nice. The first time they will destroy the walls of Rome, you will have a devastated Rome, but still in place. But the second time that barbarians will enter Rome, you will have lost the play. You will have lost. There is one human player and 3 bots that have a set of priorities through which they place cards and resolve emperors and so on and so on and so on. So lots of variants, even in the basic multiplayer game and also in the solo game. I really like this game because, but I was surprised because at first I thought, well, I'm buying just another generic abstract game, generic history team game. It is more than just history team. This game is more than just history team. Why? Because, okay, it is an indirect simulation. There is not a direct simulation. Every emperor here is equal to another. Regalianos, with respect to Regalianos, is just the same as Diocletianos. Historical, this has no sense, but there are lots of historical information on every card, so it is also a very good game to play with your children or your young players, to teach them about Roman history, also for yourself to know more of Roman history, because even Regalianos, you see, who was he when he was elected emperor, and how he died. There are a million different ways to die in ancient Rome. Okay, just like the Seth MacFarlane movie that I really loved. So there are lots of historical information. It's a very nice game. I would have liked, I don't know, maybe not an historical playbook, but some more designer's notes or a bit of a historical supplement, like 2 or 3 pages of historical background, and also a player aid chart. Okay, it is very simple, but this, using another card just as a player aid chart, maybe it is a bit not enough for me. But apart from that, these are really minor quibbles. Solo priorities, sometimes you have a set of priorities and then sub priorities to resolve a single priority. Okay, but it is not absolutely, it is very easy to manage also the solo mode. There are so many ways to play this game. You can play it with open cards, at least to learn the game. There is no problem about that. There are lots of balances, indirect strategies. It really values your lateral thinking. The board is in constant evolution, it's constantly evolving, and so it is unstable, it is chaotic, but it is also full of opportunities, because just by playing one card you can open a new set of opportunities. So it is a very tight game, it's a very balanced game, it's a very nice game, and short duration, very playable. It is in the middle between a filler game and an average game. I really like it. It is not a beach game because you need this board, which is a board that is actually not small. It is a conventional game board, but it is very quick. You open the box, you read the rule book, and in 10 minutes at the very most you are playing it, and you are enjoying yourself. You are having a very a very good time, and you're learning more about Roman history, about this period of Roman history. I like that the game designers, the authors of Time Crisis, created this game in particular, because I see that as a companion game to Time of Crisis, and I really like it. I really like how they managed to capture some very important historical dynamics that prompt you to learn more, to read more about this period, but also to think strategically. It is a thinking game. It is not simplistic at all. There are lots of strategies involved in a very interesting historical environment, very well represented. So I say, as I said, I was surprised by this game. Very nice components. Just be sure to use the right size of card sleeves. You will shuffle these cards a lot, so it will be very important to have those sleeve cards, at least for me. And that's very nice game. No, also a low price, $40, I think, $45. You can find it. A nice game to play with your friends that are not into historical war gaming or gaming at all, or younger players, or also historical gamers that like to have a lighter game in a while with short duration, but absolutely very interesting strategically and with a very good historical setting, very well represented historical setting. Also, there's a good solo mode, so there's lots of value in this box. This has been Barracks Emperors by Brad Johnson and Ray Farrell, published by GMT. Thank you for having follow me. See you on the next time, and as always, remember, don't be scared, it's just war games. Ciao.